Imagine waking tomorrow with a fever, a deep cut, or a broken leg, and no clinic, no pharmacy, no ambulance, and no doctor waiting behind a door. Your survival would depend on people who knew your body, your landscape, and what could be done before the danger passed. But ancient humans were not one single group. We'll focus on mobile hunter-gatherer communities living before agriculture, especially during the late Ice Age and early Holocene. Their lives varied by climate, season, age, and social role. Still, one idea appears again and again. No doctors did not mean no care, and no medicine did not mean no medical knowledge. Picture the camp at dawn. Smoke hangs low. Someone is waking the embers, but one person does not rise. Maybe a fever has left them weak. Maybe a hunting injury has swollen overnight. The group does not begin with a formal diagnosis. They watch. Is the person breathing normally? Can they drink? Is the wound still bleeding? Is it becoming hot or swollen? Can they stand? In a world without written charts or machines, the body itself was the first report. Someone brings water. Someone makes food soft enough to swallow. A hide is pulled closer to the fire, or the sick person is moved into shade. The group quietly rearranges itself around the weakened body. That rearrangement mattered because mobile people could not simply pause life without consequences. Fuel still had to be gathered. Food still had to be found, prepared, and shared. Children still needed care. They had no hospital, but they had a social system capable of becoming one. Care may have included cleaning wounds, binding injuries, supporting broken limbs, cooling an overheated body, and using plants or other materials learned through experience. Archaeology cannot always tell us exactly why a particular plant was gathered, so the details remain uncertain, but practical knowledge of the landscape would have been essential. Which foods were safe? Which substances irritated the skin? Where was clean water? Which injuries could wait and which could not? No doctor did not mean no expertise. It meant expertise was distributed among hunters, gatherers, older people, caregivers, and anyone who had survived something similar. And beneath the compassion was a difficult calculation. If the group moved, could the sick person travel? If they stayed, would they miss a seasonal food source? A person too weak to walk might be carried, supported, or left in a temporary camp with others. But the answer depended on the illness, the terrain, the weather, and the resources available. This is where the romantic picture breaks. Ancient communities could be deeply cooperative, but cooperation had limits. A severe infection, childbirth complication, or untreated wound could become fatal. There was no guaranteed rescue coming from somewhere else. A fever could pass, or it could turn the entire camp into a place of waiting. Some skeletons show healed fractures and other serious injuries. That does not reveal every detail of the care provided, but it does suggest that at least some people survived trauma with help from others. A healed bone is a quiet record of dependence. It suggests that, for a time, someone had to make room for another person's weakness. The most surprising part is that illness did not create a separate medical world. It entered ordinary life. Resting was not a break from survival. Sometimes resting was the survival strategy. Food, warmth, touch, clean water, watchfulness, and time could matter more than a dramatic cure. Today, sickness usually sends us toward a specialized system, a clinic, a prescription, a test, a trained professional. That system saves lives ancient people could not save, but it also separates care from daily community. We can be surrounded by medicine and still be sick alone in a room. For hunter-gatherers, the opposite was often true. They had less control over infection, injury, and pain, but the person in trouble was physically close to the people responsible for them. There was no sick day on a calendar. There was only a group deciding, hour by hour, what it could carry. So what did ancient humans do when someone got sick? They observed. They sheltered. They fed, cleaned, carried, cooled, warmed, waited, and sometimes used remedies learned from the landscape. They relied on memory and shared responsibility because there was no institution waiting to take over. Their lives were not easier. Their medicine was not imaginary, and their greatest resource may not have been a hidden cure, but the willingness to spend time on someone who could not immediately give anything back. The ancient hospital was not a building. It was a decision. This person still belongs with us, and that may be the part modern life has not outgrown. If you want to explore how farming changed illness, work, and the human body, watch the next video.